Okay, hello everyone. Let's begin our space. I would like to say good morning and good afternoon, good evening, because I believe our listeners are from everywhere around the world. Thank you for joining us at today's space. We will focus on the next mass adoption of blockchain technology, which I believe that everyone has the same hope as me. It's time to bring more people to be on board.
Hey everyone, how are we all doing?
Yeah.
We are doing a little repeat here over last space. So we were having, we had an amazing space a couple days ago. But unfortunately, as Twitter is being Twitter, the recording wasn't perfectly recorded, which of course means, we cannot share everything everywhere as much as we want to and spread the word, which is what we're here to do, right? To onboard users, to spread the word, and to inform everyone of what we're doing here. So we'll just be going through the same questions again. Maybe have some different answers, have some tweaks there. But and let's hope Twitter does its job now and records everything.
Just a quick announcement before we dive into today's MA. We will launch a special quiz event tomorrow for every user to have the best blockchain experience on Mango Network. Remember to check our pin event post and win the prize. Okay, let's begin our space now. Everyone ready? We believe that the next.
Let's go.
Okay, we believe that the next mass adoption must be led by high process efficiency and secure, also decentralized technology. So, thus we are here to bring the topic related to Mango Network, which will solve the impossible triangle that exists now. Mango Network is a transactional omni-chain infrastructure network programming in most language, also a new chain-wide architecture infrastructure. Mango Network uses the safest, most efficient and versatile cross-chain interoperability path while saving the transaction fees. So at today's space, we invite David, the CTO of Mango Network, Arian, the head of North American ecosystem. Let's welcome them to give a brief introduction. Thank you. David first.
Hey guys, yeah, definitely. I'm very happy to be talking to you today, and I'm very curious to see what will be happening today and all the questions we'll be getting and that we'll be going over. And happy to be spreading the word about Mango. My name is David. I'm the CTO of Mango Network, and I joined Mango Network because I saw such an incredible opportunity here. Like I saw what the team was creating already, and like all the problems that they were solving, specifically like in the blockchain space, and with relation to like all the other blockchain networks out there and how they're like connecting them and making everything easier for the users. And I figured like that is definitely the next move to onboard the next billion Web2 users, right? And that's like a very big and important metric to be going for. Like it's a big goal, but a lot needs to happen to do that, right? So that's what I'm here to help out, and I'll be hoping you guys will be doing it alongside with me here today, and among all the coming Twitter Spaces. Next here we have Aryan. Aryan, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, David, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Aryan Nava. I'm from Canada, Toronto, Canada. I'm the head of the North American operations. Like David mentioned, I see lots of great opportunities in this project, and that is how I have joined in. And layer two and Omni-Chain is the future of the blockchain. And the product that we are building is top notch, and that's why I'm here. I'm working for Mongo Network, and you can ask any questions about the product, and we are happy to answer.
Thank you for your guys' introduction. Let's dive into our first question. David, what inspired the creation of Mango and how does it differ from other blockchain solutions currently available?
Oh my God, what inspired? That is a very deep and thorough question. Like there's so much to talk about and to cover here, but I'll try to keep it brief. Not to bore the listeners. But the problems that there are out there, that's what inspired the creation of Mango Network. The problems with the current and challenges with the current blockchain ecosystem and the blockchain landscape, because like blockchain technology is amazing, right? And there's a lot that can be accomplished, and like we've seen that from like the rise from Bitcoin over to like Ethereum and the rise of smart contracts and all the other different layer one and layer two networks. But everything has become very complex. There are so many different chains out there, so many different products, so many different tokens. Like just in terms of tokens, like there are thousands of tokens being launched every day, right? And people don't know what to pay attention to anymore. And the same goes for blockchain networks themselves. Like even for developers, it can be very complicated sometimes. For like, hey, I've been working on Ethereum, but now I see all these other chains. Like, is that where I should be developing? Is that where the users will be moving to, or where they are at right now? And that makes it complicated for people, for end users to use blockchain technology, and for developers to create decentralized applications for users, right? And that is where Mango really steps in to solve the connectivity between all these different states and between all these different blockchain networks, and to then make a very streamlined experience both for the developers and for the end users. So it is basically where the inspiration of Mango Network came from. And of course, like we have a lot of side benefits here as well. Like, yes, we connect all the different blockchains, but we also happen to be amazingly fast and amazingly cheap. So there's lots to cover there, as we'll be diving into in the space. But I think that is where, the main inspiration for Mango Network comes from. Just the love for blockchain technology, the love for the technical aspect, but then the need in the market for like a better solution out there, for solutions that are cheap and scalable and are able to handle a lot of transactions and are easy to use for everyone. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers, in a nutshell, as brief as I can put it, where the inspiration for Mango Network comes from.
That's fascinating, David. Now let's dive deeper into the architecture. Can you explain how Mango's Omni-Chain architecture improved interoperability and user experience across different blockchains?
Yeah, definitely. So like for some of the people here, like it might be a complicated word, right? Omni-chain, what does that mean exactly? And what we mean with that basically is that Mango Network is able to connect and quote unquote wrap around all the current existing blockchain networks. This means that if you have an application that runs on Mango Network, it's able to communicate very easily with all these other blockchain networks. For example, if I have a banking application on Mango Network, then it can communicate with the state on Ethereum. Like if there's a different application running on Ethereum, or I have my money stored on Ethereum, I can very easily send that to Mongo Network with the connectors that we have. So specifically diving into the architecture, how does everything work here, and how do we achieve this, connectiveness? Well, that all stems from the connectors that we build. Like we have each separate chain. So basically, let me take one step back, like a more high level perspective, is that the main brains, they all run on the Mango Network main chain, right? Like there's sort of one main smart contract that contains all the state on Mango Network. And then we have separate connectors for all the separate blockchains. So then there's a separate smart contract running on Ethereum and on Solana and on Polygon and like all the other different chains. And they attach into the main smart contract basically is running on Mango Network. And through that connective architecture, we're able to very easily connect with various chains. This also means like very big benefit here is that in the future, if like a different chain comes out, right, like hypothetically like 3 years from now, like some other hippie chain comes out, we can very easily integrate with it as well. And I think that's it's a pretty cool feature as well. So that basically covers what the architecture looks like from like a technical perspective, and how we are able to communicate and transfer assets and transfer state and like store state to these different networks basically, and also like have a single place for liquidity to store all your money basically.
Great insights. Now, Arian, let's hear from you now. As we introduced before, you are the head of Mango's North American ecosystem. Why don't you tell us how Omni-Chain protocol ensure interoperability and seamless communication between different blockchain networks while maintaining security and decentralization?
Okay, thank you, Sharon. That's a good question. So the question is, how does the Omni-Chain infrastructure enhance the interoperability and scalability of blockchain application, and what is the advantage? So the the one of the main thing is the enhancing interoperability. For example, the first one would be cross-chain communication, which allow assets and data to move freely between blockchains. As David mentioned, we have multiple different blockchains, so we want to integrate or communication between all the cross-chain. And then the other one is a unified protocol. Basically, it establishes a common standard for all the other blockchain for easier integration. The third one would be decentralized interoperability, meaning that we can maintain a security and trust without a central point of failure. Like any other leading blockchain, we are mostly centralized, but in our case, that we maintain security and trust without a central point of failure. And the other one is enhancing the scalability. In the Omni chain, we can do a parallel processing, which can allow us to increase the transaction throughout by processing a multiple chains. That's the first one. Then we can do a load balancing, which reduce the congestion and latency by distributing transaction. As you can see, when blockchain or Bitcoin price goes up, every major blockchain out there, it's either get delayed transaction or transaction is slow. So we basically Omni-chain, avoid that by producing a load balancing. And then the third one would be resource optimization. So different chain can specialize in specific tasks, improving the efficiency. So meaning that the resource can be optimized in different area so that transaction or the process can be improved and then work as a more efficient than any other blockchain. And what is the advantage we have, the Omni-chain have, other than using a traditional blockchain model? The one is the most important 4 point is enhance flexibility. It can leverage strength of multiple blockchains. Second would be increased security by distributing data and reducing attack risk. And the third one I would say is improved user experience. It provide basically the Omni-chain provides seamless cross-chain transactions, and the ecosystem growth. Omni-chain will encourage many innovation and new app development because as everyone know that we have multiple blockchain which is out there and individual standard traditional blockchains, and to interconnect or connect every other blockchain out there, we need an Omni-chain which is secure, fast, and easy to develop an application. And that is why Mongo network is completely different and stands out compared to other traditional blockchain models.
Thank you, Arian. Your explanation is very enlightening. And What are the main challenges in implementing omni-chain capabilities in blockchain ecosystems, and how can they be adjusted to enable efficient cross-chain transactions and data sharing?
What do you think? Should I answer this, or should I take this one, or you
No, David,
think
you can take this.
Arjen would be the
You
best one?
can you
Yeah,
can take this. Yeah.
definitely. Let me go ahead then. Well, as you can imagine, it's very technically complex to interact with all these different networks. Every single blockchain network has its own code base, has its own architecture, has its own way of doing things, its own protocols, right? And while there is overlap and principles are fairly similar between various blockchain networks, they're also very unique in the way they do things, and they have to be because everyone tries to innovate to solve problems in like a different way, right? With different solutions. So as you can imagine, it can be very complex to integrate with all these different blockchains. So we need to ensure that together with like the Move language, which is like the main programming language that Mango operates on, we're able to communicate with these different chains. And for example, one of the ways is that we ensure compatibility there is that we also ensure compatibility with these other programming languages. So if you've already made an application on an EVM chain in Solidity, that will be you'll be able to like run that on Mongo network as well. Um, so Mongo network has like a lot of like challenges there to interact with all these different blockchains, but we also solve them. And of course, like transferring assets, like how do you do that? Because like every time it you're coding something about money, like there's a lot of security that has to be involved, right? And a lot of trust. Like you want people to trust you and your project and your company and your blockchain network to send all this money around and to use it on a daily basis. And that requires a lot of thought. And luckily, like there's a very big team of smart people here besides me creating Mango Network that know how to solve all these challenges. But there's definitely like a lot of thought that goes into every single detail there, and to make sure that all the state can be seamlessly transferred and all your money and all your assets. So if you have your Ethereum on the Ethereum chain, that you're able to transfer that directly to Mongo and then use the same amount of value, basically like the same amount of money on the Mongo network and with all the chains connected there, right? So there are a lot of cool features, but of course, like there's a lot of complexity that goes into there and a lot of things that we need to think of. So yeah, there are definitely some challenges there, but luckily we have a very smart team.
It's quite insightful. Understanding these challenges and your strategies to address them highlights the robust solutions Mango is offering to the blockchain community. Okay, high transaction fees and slow processing time has always been the major issues in blockchain technology. How does Mango address these challenges? What's your opinion, David?
Oh, that is definitely like one of the big things, right? And that's actually like one of the first sort of challenges that we saw with Bitcoin as well, is as Bitcoin rose in popularity, the network became slower and slower. And this is just a very simple law of supply and demand. There's only a certain amount of transactions that can be processed at any time, depending on, in terms of Bitcoin, depending on the amount of like the configuration of like how Bitcoin, the block time that is set there, but also, the amount of power that the network has there. And there's a lot, like as the demand was increasing, like as there's more and more people onboarding on the network, of course, like the price increases, but it's the same with the transaction time. The transaction speeds decrease and transaction time increase exponentially. So, and we become very slow just to like transfer $20 to your friend on the Bitcoin network, right? And become very expensive as well, which like for small gimmicks is fine, but like if you want to use it on a daily basis, and like hypothetically, if you would want to use it to buy your bread with, which like was originally sort of the idea of Bitcoin, right, to replace the fiat currencies and like replace the financial systems with like a digital and decentralized currency. There are some, significant challenges, mainly like, the transaction speed and the cost. And we saw these problems coming back constantly and constantly. Each new chain that has come out and has developed, these same problems arise. So after Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, has a lot more possibilities with like smart contracts, but again, same freaking problem where transaction speeds are slow or have become slow as like network demand increases, and then the network cost, like the cost of a transaction, also massively increases, right? And that's what you don't want as an end user. So yeah, that's one of the primary problems that we're tackling at Mango Network. And the way that we do that is by being very smart about what we can handle in parallel and what we cannot. For example, if I'm as an individual just sending money to Arjen here, that's something, and like Sharon is sending some money to one of the listeners here, those are two things that can be happening in parallel, right? But if I am doing a complex transaction, that involves a lot of different accounts and a lot of different states and assets, that's something that might not be able to do in parallel with similar transactions. So then we need to do them sequentially. So by being smart about what we can do next to each other, pressing in parallel versus doing sequentially, like we're able to achieve like a very high network speed, basically, of like up to 297,000 transactions per second, which might sound very, very abstract for most people here, but that's an insane number. Just for comparison here, recently I looked at the Solana network speed and the transactions per second, which came to around like 2.6 thousand. So 2.6 thousand compared to 297,000. That's that's an insane difference. So as you can imagine, that also again affects the transaction cost. So we're able to offer transactions at a very, very low cost and at a very high speed. And that's basically one of the key features that we offer here at Mango Network.
Thanks, David. It's reassuring to hear how Mango is tackling these critical issues. I believe your solutions for reducing transaction fees and improving processing time are much needed in the industry. Let's talk more about the architecture. What role does Mango's modular blockchain architecture play in enhancing performance, scalability, and security?
Arjen, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can add a few things. So we have in the current scenario in the regular blockchain ecosystem, we have some main challenges. So some of the challenges, I'm going to tell you some of the challenges and then the solution that the Omni-Chain Mongo network can provide. So the typical blockchain ecosystem have like I could say like a top 10 main challenges. One is the complexity of integration because the different blockchain have a different protocol and standards. So if I'm a developer, I need to understand and learn every single one of them. And then the second one would be in a security risk, increased attack with multiple chains. You regularly read the news, what's going on, how many attacks are being done and throughout various blockchains. And then the other one would be a consensus mechanism. Synchronizing various consensus algorithm would be difficult on the typical blockchain ecosystem. And the main one is scalability issues. So that is why that you can see the performance is always down across interconnected chains. And regulatory compliance, it's like, every different countries, every different region have their own legal frameworks. And if the, the blockchain ecosystem don't have that, then they will face issues. So what Omni-Chain capabilities, like for example, the Mongo network can provide and solution is we provide a standardized protocol, which is a developer common standard for interoperability. And the security measure is strong with the encryption and decentralized validation. And we have a unified consensus framework which can create an adaptable consensus mechanism. And the Omni-Chain Mongo network provide efficient scaling techniques. We are like use sharding and side chains for adding more performance. And the other one, the collaborative regulatory standards. The Omni-Chain Mongo network basically enhance with the regulators to harmonize the laws. And also the Mongo network Omni-Chain, what David mentioned, we basically, from the performance side, we beat some of the leading blockchain ecosystem which is out there. And we are basically trying to resolve the problem with the main the traditional blockchain ecosystem which are facing. And we are thinking about 10 years from now what blockchain can and able to do for the community all over the world by building the best omni-chain blockchain as possible from Mongo network.
Thanks. Great details. The role of modular architecture in enhancing these aspects is imposing. Mango's approach boosts performance, scalability, and security. Now let's continue. David, with the complexity of Layer 1 and Layer 2 landscape, how does Mango simplify the development and deployment of decentralized application? Could you share your insight with us?
Oh yeah, I definitely have some thoughts there. Well, as I've mentioned previously, all these different chains, all these different blockchain networks, they all use their own architecture and their own programming languages, right? And for example, if you want to write something on Ethereum, you need to use the Solidity programming language. But if you want to deploy something on Solana, you need to use the Rust programming language, which are very different in like how they structure things. And then there are a lot of other blockchain networks with a bunch of other languages as well, which can make it very complex. So the way by using Mango as a developer, you're able to write something in a single language, in the Move language, and then you're able to use that and deploy that on all these different chains. Like you're able to use the state from all the different networks in your single, decentralized application, which is a great thing for developers. Because you don't have to develop everything for a separate chain anymore. Right now, even if you want to have a bridge, for example, if you want to bridge your tokens from Solana to Ethereum, you need to manually develop like a bridge for that. And then you need to deploy it on both networks, right? Whereas with Mango, you only need to code once and you can use like the state of all these different networks, basically. So that greatly enhances developer productivity, that greatly enhances the speed at which company and projects can develop and can create new features for the users. So at the end, that creates economic output, and that's basically what drives innovation, right? So both for developers and for end users, like it will be much simpler to use Mango Network than to use like any other chain, basically, while still being able to communicate with any of these other chains. So I think there's great upside there for developers, and there's a lot of potential in creating cool applications in the future there.
Thank you for your answer. It's quite helpful. Simplifying the development and deployment of decentralized application is crucial, and it's great to see how Mango is making this possible. Mango promise high throughput and cost efficiency. Can you share some real applications or case studies where Mango has demonstrated these benefits?
Oh, I think being DEX is a great example here. Arjen, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thanks, David. So one of the existing application right now, which is running on Mongo network, is being DEX, which I use all the time. So that is my preferred wallet, where I can do all the transactions. So typically, I use like the wallet like MetaMask. MetaMask is my typical wallet that I've been using it for last, like 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. Not 10 years, but 8 years, I guess. But now the problem with the wallet like MetaMask, that the hackers or the outsiders is tampering MetaMask. Like when you go to MetaMask, that you can see, hey, you have 20 BNB or like a 10 Ether. You see, so you can able to see those numbers, but when you click on those numbers, it take you to some different link and say, oh, you need to give me like one BTC, sorry, not one Ether to get you a 10 Ether back. So there is lots of things are happening with the MetaMask, the wallet. So those things, you won't able to see those things in wallet like being DEX, which is running on top of Mongo network. It is more very efficient. It is fast, and it basically connect multi-chain. So that is one of the best application right now, which is running on Mongo network, that anyone can go and try it for themselves, and then you can see the difference between the being DEX wallet as well as the MetaMask or any other leading wallet that you you've been using or you have used in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very nice answer. And just to add to that, right, talking specifically about the real world applications, is any application that the two requirements are high speed and low cost is perfectly suitable for Mango Network here, right? So what applications can we think of here? Well, the first thing that for me comes to mind is a banking application. There are like billions of transactions happening in the world where everyone is just paying, everyone is buying their groceries, buying bread, like paying their rent, doing all your regular daily life tasks. All of those need to be processed very fast, right? Like if you're standing in a grocery store and you want to pay, like you don't want to wait like 5 minutes until it's over. Like you want to be able to pay and walk away right away. But also you want to pay like a very low fee. Because even now with credit cards and stuff, like you still pay like a certain fee there, right? Which is Mongo Network is able to beat that like by a great mile in terms of cost. So it's very cost efficient for people to use as well. And then, of course, as we talked about previously, like being able to communicate with all these different chains is like another great benefit there, right? So in terms of real world applications, like there are endless possibilities. And we could speculate on for hours about like the crazy things people can build. But at the end of the day, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how creative people are, and we will have to see what developers come up with there.
Great examples. Thanks, David and Arian, for your answer. The real application and case studies clearly demonstrate Mango's high throughput and cost efficiency in action. Okay, that's all for today's MA. Thank you to David and Arian for this valuable discussion, and thanks to everyone to join us today. This has been an incredible discussion about the future of blockchain technology and how Mango Network is paving the way forward. We are excited to share that Mango Network will launch the Learn Mango to Earn event tomorrow. Remember to check out our FAQ on Medium and Discord FAQ channel and participate in the class. Don't miss out the chance to learn about Mango and earn the prize. Stay tuned for more updates and follow us for future MAs. Thank you guys. Have a good day and have a good night.
Thanks, Sharon. It was nice.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye bye, guys. Been a pleasure.
Bye.
Yeah, pleasure meeting everyone. Any question, please post it in our Telegram channels.
Yes, you can discuss with us in the group. Bye bye. See you guys.